Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLuca. Thanks so much for tuning in here Wednesday, August 20th. Do want to remind y'all, tonight, Club Jaguar, 8:30 p.m. will be live on my channel, and UCF Jaguar channel will be me, UCF Jaguar, Jason from Jaguars United, talking all things Jags. Going to do it live, so be there or be square. Right now, we're getting into some position battles going on at Jaguars training camp right now, and Jaguars training camp is all but wrapped up. They're heading to Miami this afternoon. Joint practices with the Dolphins tomorrow. Preseason finale against the Dolphins Saturday at 7 p.m. Remains to be seen exactly how they're going to handle preseason week 3 in terms of the game. Like, are they going to put starters out there, anything like that? I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. We'll see. But these position battles, excited to get into it. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear like the hat I am wearing right now. So, Chuma Edoga versus Patrick McCary. I think I have a strong feeling about each one of these positional battles, outside of maybe the last one that we're going to talk about. And this is like for the first 4 we're going to talk about is like for legitimate playing time on offense or defense. And the first one, Chuma Edoga versus Patrick McCary, it's for right guard. You see them kind of subbing in and out during practices. The coaching staff has talked about how Edoga and McCary are competing at right guard. It seemed like when McCary was signed for over $13 million per year, he was going to be the Jaguars starting right guard, bar none. Now, he's dealt with little back issues. He's missed a little bit of time. Chuma Edoga has missed a little bit of time. Seemed like when Edoga was signed, it was a little bit later, and it was a little bit, okay, this is going to be a guy that can compete as primary depth, potentially at tackle and guard, all right? So McCary was kind of the leader in the clubhouse without question. I don't know if the Jaguars even thought Edoga would be pushing McCary. But as things have developed since this free agent class was brought in, the Jags have really liked what they've seen from Chuma Edoga, and I think they want to see a little bit more from Patrick McCary. I think Patrick McCary is the better overall player. I don't know that he is by a wide margin at guard. What we've seen from Chuma a lot lately in his career is more tackle play, right? You look at pulling up his stats here. He played a lot more tackle in Dallas lately. 2024, all of his snaps but 7 were at left tackle. 2023, all of his snaps were at left tackle. Pretty much he's been a tackle, right? 2021, all of his snaps were at left tackle. 2020, all of his snaps were at right tackle. 2019, all of his snaps were at right tackle. He did have, in 2023, 100 snaps at left guard. In 2022, 55 snaps at left guard. So they did know he has some experience playing both, but he's played a lot more tackle, over 1,200 snaps in his career of tackle versus less than 200 at guard, right? So I don't know that they signed him and thought he was going to come in here and impress them enough to be competing for a starting job. But that's exactly what's happening. I think Patrick McCary will win the job. I think he's overall a little bit better of a player, but I don't know that. I just think you follow the money. $13 million per year is pretty hard to put on the bench. The Jags, they've shown that money isn't the end-all, be-all, like, moving on from Gabe Davis, doing some of the other things they've done. But I think McCary at starting right guard makes the most sense. I think he has the highest upside for you at right guard right now. But if Chuma wins the job, he wins the job. I don't think they've decided yet. I think they could potentially... it's good to get a starting 5 gelling together and feeling the cohesiveness, between when you're talking about right guard, between your right guard and your center and your right tackle. But we'll see how it ends up playing out. I think the good thing is probably both of them are decent options. I actually do think that. Devin Lloyd and Ventrell Miller. Another one where it's like, Devin Lloyd, former first round pick, Ventrell Miller, fourth round pick. Devin Lloyd is going into a contract year. Devin definitely came in as the starter. I still think he's getting more starting reps than Ventrell Miller. Obviously, you have Foye Oluokun as the locked-in starter at linebacker. But I think you could see both of these guys on the field in different scenarios. When you talk about like offensive line positions, you're not talking usually about subbing a guy out for a specific scenario or game plan. That could be the case at linebacker, however, right? I think both of these guys have had some really good moments in camp. I think Devin Lloyd is a more impressive athlete. Ventrell is probably a little bit more impressive upstairs, and he's a thumper. They both hit. They do. Devin can run better. I think he can, flip those hips and get downfield better, but he has more missed assignments than Ventrell does, but Ventrell has less athleticism to be a high-end playmaker beyond just coming downhill and playing the run and blitzing. But I do legitimately think you could see 3 linebackers on the field at some times, and I think all, Ventrell, Foye, and Devin could all be on the field together. But right now, I would still put Devin as getting more snaps than Ventrell. But if Devin has struggles the way he has had in the past, where you have missed assignments, like I always talk about this, Devin Lloyd, it's like 85 to 90% of his plays are great, but the other, 10 to 15%, it's like a missed assignment that's really costly. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out, and it could have a very big impact overall on the Jaguars' success or lack thereof. Either way, however it turns out on the defensive side of the ball this year. They're still saying there's a competition for like safety too. Eric Murray is a starter without question. I think Andrew Wingard is almost written in pen. It's written in pencil, and I think that the ink is about to be placed onto the piece of paper to write it down in pen. I think that he's the most. I think he's the smartest. I think that he is a playmaker, both, coming downhill. You see him making plays in the pass game as well. You see him blitzing. He's a savvy vet who knows how to play football. He just doesn't have some of the high-end traits that you might see from some of the other guys. But at the same time, the guy with the highest end traits, Caleb Ransaw, not available. Another guy with pretty high-end traits, Darnell Savage, just hasn't really put it all together at an extremely high level consistently in the NFL, even though he can fly. So I think safety 2 is going to be Dewey Wingard, but they're still calling it a competition, and you still are seeing some competition out there for reps. Running back room. I mean, all of them. The top 4 guys, I think they're all competing for reps right now, which is cool, and we've talked about that a good bit. But I think if I had to, it's hard to honestly say, well, this guy's the definitive starter. We've seen Travis Etienne start a preseason game. We've seen Tank Bigsby start a preseason game. We've seen Travis Etienne start in practice. We've seen Tank Bigsby start in practice. We've seen both of them play a lot. I think right now you're viewing Tank Bigsby as your lead ball carrier. You're viewing Travis Etienne as your lead receiving back. And then Bashal Tutin is the number 3 that can do both of those things at a high level. And then LeQuint Allen is your clear passing down back, behind Travis Etienne. He's a good pass protector. He's a good pass catcher. He's tough. He brings a lot of feistiness and energy to the field. I like this group a lot. And I know it's not perfect. It's not like you have 4 guys that can all do everything, but you have some complementary skill sets. And Tank Bigsby's looking really strong. The big thing for these guys is don't fumble the football. Don't fumble the ball. It's one thing if you drop it out in a route, but don't fumble it, right? Bashal Tutin and Tank Bigsby have had big-time fumbling problems throughout their career. Travis Etienne fumbled the ball a lot during his first year in the league. He's cleaned that up really impressively over the last 2 years. Hasn't fumbled but one time. It was a bad fumble, yes, I know. But that's the one thing for these running backs, I think. Don't fumble, and you'll have this running game in a good situation. And the ability to not just be runners, but be playmakers in space, get the football to them in other ways. And then finally, wide receiver 5. I think your top 4 is locked up. No question about it. You've got your top 4 guys locked in: BTJ, Travis Hunter, De'Ami Brown, Parker Washington, in some order. But wide receiver 5, and I guess you could say 6, is pretty interesting. It feels like, to me, it's clearly, I don't know if they're going to keep 6. I would think a team that's going to be in 11 personnel as much as they are would probably like to try to keep 6, but it's also possible you could stash a couple of the guys that you like on your practice squad. But I think wide receiver 5, which is a position that could legitimately see some playing time on the field, is up for grabs right now. And I think there's 3 players that have kind of staked a claim to it. Austin Trammell, who is more of a undersized, quick, but does his job type of receiver. Trenton Irwin has been in the league for a long time. And Trammell has experience with this group as well. Like, he was in LA, so he has experience in this type of offense. Trenton Irwin came over from Cincinnati this offseason. They brought him in, and he's got some length. He makes a lot of plays. He's kind of like a savvy vet as well, but not really the same exact type of player as Trammell. Trammell's a little squattier, looks more like a slot receiver. Irwin looks like he could play a lot of different spots. And then Joshua Cephas, who I think was definitely the front runner for a little while. I think it's cooled a little bit, and now he's actually, he didn't practice today. He was out there with the team, but did not practice today. We don't know what's going on with that yet, but that's the 3 guys in my mind that have a shot at being wide receiver 5 and potentially being a play away from having to get out there and make some plays for the Jaguars offense. So those are the position battles I've been looking at that I think are kind of interesting. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to be here tonight at 8:30 for Club Jaguar. Y'all have a good one.